In this tutorial, we will review how to use Data Services File Location Object to transfer files from a remote system. In Data Services 4.2 Support Pack 5, a new concept called File Location Object is introduced. You might think of it as a file adapter, which can be used to create a native connection to a remote file system. In addition, we also added several built-in functions to allow users to transfer and manipulate files natively in Data Services. In this release, we offer a much seamless and integrated file transfer solution for our users. Data Services is now able to connect directly to a remote file server. With this new feature, you can now have a secured, central solution in Data Services to manage the file transfer process that supports different secure protocols such as FTP, SFTP, and SCP, greatly simplify administration and reduce maintenance costs. File location is an object added in Data Services to capture the remote file server protocol and communication details. In order to create a file location object in Data Services Designer, you will first need to provide the network protocol information such as FTP, SFTP, and SCP. You may also use the File Transfer Not Connection option to define the connection is a local file system. Once the network protocol is defined, the next step is to provide the location where to access the files from. For example, if you're working with a local file server, Data Services will access the file from the local directory. On the other hand, if you're working with a remote file server, Data Services will first download the file from the remote directory and save a copy in the local directory in order to access the files. Before Data Services 4.2 Support Pack 5, you may implement a file transfer process in Data Services using an external script and use the exec function to execute the script. Although the exec function is very useful to perform tasks that are not natively supported in Data Services, it requires users to know the native command line syntax, which often can be difficult for maintenance. For common file transfer operations, such as copy files from a remote system to a local file system, or copy the files to a remote server, it makes sense to add the built-in functions in Data Services to eliminate the overhead to manage these external scripts. Similarly, we also added 3 built-in functions in Data Services to support different types of file manipulations, such as copy files from one location to another, delete and move one or multiple files at a time. You can also use the file move function to rename an existing file name. With these new built-in functions, you can now simplify the pre-processing and post-processing for file transfer and file manipulations within Data Services. In this demo, I will go over how to set up a remote source and target using the file location object and show you how to use it to transfer file to Data Services and transform the data in one pass. In this example, I have already created 2 file objects. One point to the source system and the other one point to the target server. Let's take a look at the parameter of the source system. In this example, I am using the FTP protocol to connect to a remote file server. Notice that 2 parameters called connection retry count and connection retry interval. These 2 options is to make sure Data Services stay connected while transfer the data to the local server. Now, let's take a look at the file location object in the target system. In this example, I am using the SFTP protocol to connect to this remote server. You can either choose public key or password to authenticate. It is also expected you to provide a private key and a public key file if you select the public key as an authentication data type. Finally, for the remote directory, I defined a subdirectory called FTP target in the default user home directory. is a data flow to show you how to use file location object to transfer files and perform data transformation in data services. Let's take a look at the details. In the source, if I open the source, it points to the file location object that I created in a remote server. And there is a file called employee.txt. Now let's take a look at the details in the employee file. The file is very simple. It basically has the employee first name and last name as a two separate fields, and following for the address data. In the data flow itself, we also have a query transform, which performs a very simple data transformation. In this example, I simply concatenate the first name and last name in one single field. Finally, what we will do is after the data transfer and data transformation, we will upload the result file into the remote server as a target system. In this example, the location is now pointed to the location object for the target system, and the file name will call cleans employee. Now let's execute this job. Now, if I look at the file location object for the remote server, you can see a new file called cleans employee is being created. If I open the file, you can see now the result, the first name and last name for the employee is being stored in one single field. With this, we now wrap up this demonstration to use data services file location object to do file transfer and file transformation in one single pass. You can visit help.sap.builds to find more information in details. Thank you for watching this video.